It's Siobhan Muir. Happy Pride Month! Yay! Do you notice the glitter? We did a glitter blessing today. So we're all ready for the holiday. Because it's a whole month of holidays. So what we thought we would do this time is make a rainbow cake. You've seen these things at bakeries, especially this time of year. And you know, they have the different layers of colors. It looks really complex. It actually isn't. You just have to do a little forethought and you can make your own rainbow cake. We are going to do this one gluten-free too, for all those of you who you and wheat are not friends. We have the option to do a gluten-free cake, and we're using the perfect yellow cake recipe from, you know, Gluten-Free on a Shoestring. So this is what the recipe kind of looks like. It's not very exciting, but the idea is it's the perfect yellow cake. Ours is going to be more yellow than usual because this recipe calls for 4 egg whites and a yolk, and we're just going to use the whole egg. There doesn't seem to be any reason for me to split them up. You can follow this recipe. You can find this recipe online and just follow it exactly. We're going to do some modifications. I've made this before, and those modifications have worked out fine. So here's what we got going. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to put the dry ingredients into your mixer bowl. You can do this in a stand mixer. I chose not to this time because I like my little hand mixer, but also because we're going to be splitting these things up to make the different colored cake layers, I'm going to start with doing it by hand, but also in this mixer bowl for the dry stuff. So first thing you need are 2 cups of gluten-free 1-to-1 flour. I like the Bob's Red Mill. It has worked out really well. It tastes good too. There are some of these gluten-free flours, they have a taste. And when you're trying to do baking, it's not always a good one. So we like this one because it doesn't taste like anything but flour. All right, so you need 2 cups of gluten-free flour. I don't get it all over everything. Now, this will end up being a double batch, but right now we're just gonna show you the basic recipe for the cake. Again, you'll have to double it, but so you start with 2 cups of gluten-free flour. You'll want to do a 1/4 cup plus 2 tablespoons of cornstarch. It's good to kind of, ooh, I'm so glad that fits in there. Some of these powders are really lightweight and they go everywhere. So you kind of have to be careful when you're doing this stuff. And they stick to everything. Alright. Oh wait, plus 2 tablespoons. Don't forget the 2 tablespoons. Otherwise it won't work the way you want it to. 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. So 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, which I hide in the corner, and 2 teaspoons of baking powder. It looks like actually, basically I'm making a white powder mixture because it's 4 different kinds of white powder, right? I mean, you know. And I believe baking soda and baking powder are the same thing. It's just one is more refined than the other. I think that's true. I think they come from the same deposits. And you know that baking soda and baking powder are rock, right? They're mined and then refined. Okay. All right. And then you have 1/2 teaspoon of salt. So what it says in the recipe is, into a medium-sized bowl, sift the flour, cornstarch, baking soda, and baking powder, and then add the salt and whisk to combine. So they Wasn't like the egg though. Alright, there's the salt.
That was a sad thing.
That was the, aw. Okay, so now we're going to whisk to combine. Once everything is mixed, it's going to look like a whole bunch of white powder. And then you are to set that aside and start with the wet ingredients. Okay, the famous yellow bowl. 1 stick of butter.
Maybe.
One stick of butter warmed up for 10 seconds. Ideally, it is at room temperature. But if it's not, no big deal. That's what microwaves are for. Warm it up for about 10, maybe 15 seconds, and then it'll be soft enough to manipulate pretty well. You don't want to do it too long. You don't want it completely, you don't want it completely melted. You want it to pretend like it's still hard butter.
It might be a little more than pretending.
It might be more than pretending? Oh dear. Okay. In a bowl with a handheld mixer, beat the butter, the sugar, and the vanilla on medium-high speed for at least 3 minutes. We're gonna use 1 1/4 cups of white sugar. The recipe calls for 1 1/2. I always like to cut back on the sugar because my husband has diabetic tendencies and we don't need that much sugar. However, if you cut it back too much, your cake's not going to be sweet enough and people aren't going to enjoy it. So we're going to do 1 1/4 cups of sugar, which I have to go get. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your hand mixer and mix the sugar and the butter and the vanilla. How much vanilla do you want? 2 teaspoons. Wow, that's a lot. Okay, so then what you do is you add a 1 1/4 cups and that to your sugar. Then you mix them all until for about, it says for 3 minutes on medium-high speed so I'm gonna get one of these though.
Okay. Let me know when to start the timer.
I will. All right.
Nice.
And it says, combine the egg and buttermilk in a small bowl and whisk to combine well. So what we're going to do is we're going to set this right here. We have the buttermilk. And then what we're going to do is we're going to crack the eggs into it and use probably the little red whisk. Now, it calls for 4 egg whites and an egg yolk. We're going to use 4 eggs. That's what we're going to do. That's my story and I'm sticking to it. All right, and then use the little whisk. Whisk to combine gently. Otherwise you will, good likelihood you'll overdo it and then you will make a mess. Did I do it?
Yep.
Ah, see? Must be, that's why I thought maybe we would want a bigger one.
I said, or I can transfer it to the bigger size. You said, no, it should be fine. So whose fault was that?
Okay, so what you're now going to do is you're going to add them to the large bowl with the butter and sugar mixture. Add the dry ingredients in 4 equal portions, alternating with the buttermilk egg mixture in 3 parts, beginning and ending with dry ingredients. Okay, so.
I will get it as equal as I can.
Right, yeah, you don't have to be perfect. You just have to, yeah, why don't you add in, well, here, wait, let's do this a different way. Let's kind of we'll do that, right? You say that's 1/4?
Sure.
And you want to give me 1/3 of that. Apparently. A little more.
3/4.
There you go, try that. Okay, so here's where we sort of deviate from the original recipe. This is where we start splitting. To make a rainbow cake, you have to have rainbow colors. So you have to split up your dough, your batter, and color the batter individually so you get cakes of the proper colors. We're going to start with the latter half of the rainbow. We're going to do green, blue, and purple. All right. And so what we're gonna do is we're gonna split the batter that we have right now into those 3 colors. We're gonna have to make a double batch so we can get all 6 colors and have a decent amount of cake. If I tried to split this into 6 different, I don't think it would turn out all that great. I think you'd get little bitty cakes, which is fine. It's fine to get little bitty cakes, but you kind of want to have, I don't know, on the other hand, how thick do we want these things? Because otherwise your cake's gonna stand like this tall.
That's fine.
How would you, so you're gonna get I want a big piece of cake. Yeah, well, I'm gonna get it this narrow because
That's fine. The cake will last forever. Of course, we'd never get it in the fridge.
Yeah. What do you think? So, I mean, because there's quite a bit of batter here.
I think it's possible.
Well, whatever we're gonna do is, this is not enough for 6 cakes, or 6, levels. It's not enough for, do you think that's not enough for 6? Do you think? Well, but we're making the small ones. You're not being very helpful. All right, so what we're going to do, we're gonna try it. They might be thin, but then on the other hand, your cake might fit into your fridge. Instead of being this tall, it'll be that tall with 6 different layers. So let's do that.
And then you'll be able to get a slice of cake that's more this size than this size.
And we're choosing, where are they? We're choosing to make, we're gonna make 6-inch cakes. Okay, so we're not making the full size 8 or 9 inch. We are making smaller 6-inch cakes. Did you spray these?
I have not, but I did cut out the rounds.
Good, well you need to spray them and then put the rounds on top of the sprayed. Yeah. So what it says is, originally, whoa, where did my recipe go? Ah! My recipe says, preheat the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit or 177 degrees Celsius. Grease, this one says 2 8-inch rounds. Okay, so we are making 6-inch rounds and we're going to do 6 of them. So what we're going to do is, they say grease the pans and then line the bottom of each with a round of unbleached parchment paper. This helps you get the cakes out of the pans. If anyone says, oh, I don't do anything, I just, flop them over. Depends on how much cake you want. Do you want to have real cake? Or do you want to have pieces? Do this to get your cakes out of your pans cleanly. No, there's nothing wrong with what you're doing. You're doing something great. Okay, but because we only have 3 rounds, we're going to split these into 6 different bowls. And then we're going to fill the rounds. We're going to cook them individually, okay? So what we're going to do, I wish you could just go, we're going to divide it this way, and then divide it this way, and then divide it this way, That's not going to work, because it's liquid. However, we could do, divide it that way. And then, well, it'll give me a sense of where things are. So see this section right here? Look at that. All right. I know, it's going to be really irritating. You think so?
Yeah, I think ladle is one actually.
You gonna use Nessie or you use the other one?
Oh, the other one.
Nessie is a ladle that we bought, and it looked really cute, and it's really useless.
I'll have to get.
See, isn't it adorable? Look, it's a little Loch Ness monster. And it is useless. Really adorable and has no backbone. All right. So, what we're going to do here is we're going to do
Nice.
What do you think? That
That's
about?
excellent.
All right. Put that over there. And we're gonna make this one purple.
Okay.
All right. Purple food coloring. Neon purple, if you care.
We're using color discs today, but I think this one would have the control.
What do you think?
I think that's
Good. I want it dark purple. I
Yeah.
want it really dark purple. You can make it go as light or as dark as you like. I want mine dark purple.
I think I don't have. We might need to add a little more.
Make sure you get it all, because you don't want it to be.
Purple, white, marbled.
Yeah. Well, you can. You could probably do it purple and white marbled. Do you want it darker than that?
Do you want it darker? That doesn't look real dark to me.
All right. That's more than that. You want it. You want the colors to stand out.
Nice.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think that's awesome.
You think that's awesome? That's purple.
Now, do you want it in
Nobody's gonna mistake it, you know, like, is that purple really?
this or one of those?
Let's do this one. Because this is going to be a base.
Yep.
It's all about the base.
I think it matched the purple spatula, but I don't think we'd find out either one. So, here you go.
Rinse it, and we'll use the same one again. All right, so this is the purple. All right, so it won't fill all the way, but again, we're trying to make small layers. So there's one purple layer. Okay, so blue. It's just it's just blue. Blue.
But if you want to
Oh, this is the neon green too. So what we're going to do is we're going to bake these 3 and see how they turn out, and then we will split the remaining dough into 3 more colors. But let's start with these. Now, according to the recipe book, which went,
no, I took it away. Sorry.
she took it away. The 8-inch rounds have to cook for
20 minutes.
20 minutes at 350 degrees, which is 177 degrees Celsius. And you can probably cook this, because they're small and thin, you can probably, you know what?
Let's
They're
not do
small
it
and
for 20
thin.
minutes. Maybe 15?
Let's do 14 minutes because they are thin. You don't want to overcook them, otherwise your cakes then get really dry and nasty and chewy. So we're gonna do it, I would do 14 and check. And so that's what we'll be doing. So here we go. In the oven they go. Boy, there are some nice colors though. In the oven they go.
Oh, yeah.
For 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So we'll start that and we'll be back to show you what they look like when they come out.
Wait.
That's
Scary.
Look at that, but look at with the orange and the yellow.
Yeah.
Look.
Nice.
Okay.
So I'll keep these.
Yeah, we'll need those.
This goes in the sink.
But there you go. Look at the colors. Oh, that's so fun. Look at those colors. Purple, green, blue. So they worked. So you have to let them cool. And then what we'll do is we will pour the next set of colors into the pans and cook them again. What did we do? We did 19 minutes.
And then 5.
Yeah, 14 minutes and then 5. With this size, these are the small pans with a small amount of batter, technically. So, yeah, 14 minutes, rotate, and another 5 at 350 degrees Fahrenheit. We'll let these cool and then we'll start on those. And this stuff too. We're going to do, we'll do the red one first. We'll start at the beginning of the rainbow. Since we don't have a lot of batter, I want to make sure we get it all. Okay, there's that one. This reminds me of orange sherbet. Alright, in they go for 14 minutes and then you rotate them and put them in for 5. Look at those colors. Look at how beautiful they turned out.
Are they rose a bit?
Awesome sauce.
I'm not entirely sure how big they'll be.
I think the green's still going to be the smallest. Although orange is pushing for, title. But it's okay. It just goes to show that you can do a single recipe and still make out enough layers that you can get a 6-layer cake. A little 6-layer cake, but it's a 6-layer cake.
This is definitely not a wedding cake.
Oh, I don't know. Well, I mean, small wedding.
Right.
You could definitely, look at how beautiful they turned out. Here, let me show you all 6 of them. They are delightful. They are going to be an awesome rainbow cake. All right, we just gotta wait for them to cool and then we'll frost them. So, you can't have a cake without frosting. I mean, you can, and it might look cool, kind of industrial. You just see the cake, but frosting really pulls it all together. Plus, the nice thing about the buttercream is it will make it a little more moist and tasty and a good mouthfeel. I know that seems like a strange thing to say, but trust me, if it doesn't have a good mouthfeel, people won't want to eat it. So, one of my family's favorite buttercream recipes is my chai buttercream. Everyone loves it, and even when there's leftover, they'll eat it kind of like pudding. So, what you'll need for this, so I have a basic buttercream recipe that was given to me by one of my favorite bakers and a mentor in baking, Dennis McMacken. But what you need is 1 cup of butter, and then you will whip the daylights out of this. So make sure you have your hand mixer ready, because you're going to whip it. You want it to be fluffy. Then it says, depending on how much you want and also how sweet you want it, 1 to 3 cups of powdered sugar. More than likely, for this cake that we're making, you're only going to need about 1.5 cups of powdered sugar, but you kind of have to feel your way through. The other thing is you'll need a teaspoon of vanilla and 1/2 teaspoon of flavor. Okay. Here's where I differ on this particular one. If we're gonna make chai buttercream, you need chai spices. So I've put together some of my chai spices. You have cardamom, you have cloves, you have cinnamon, and then you have nutmeg. And what you're going to do is you're just going to mix them together so they're combined. And then when you have kind of the basic mix of the buttercream put together, you will add the spices. All right? So it pretty much looks like grainy cinnamon, but the cinnamon should be the largest amount. You can find a chai recipe online and just do the same measurements that you would do to make chai, but the chai spices. Okay, so what you do is we're going to first whip the butter, then we will add the vanilla. Add the vanilla first because the butter is kind of a liquid. Add the vanilla to it. That makes it well distributed. Then you add the powdered sugar, which is the dry, so it'll be mixed together. Okay, so let's move this over here, and we're gonna whip the butter. I'm going to need a spatula, one of these. Eventually, you will also add a little bit of milk, but again, it's anywhere from 1 to 3 tablespoons, depending on how much buttercream you end up having. I could probably whip this longer for another couple minutes, but the idea is to get it kind of, whipped looking, for lack of a better choice. Okay, so then we're going to add a teaspoon of vanilla to this. And you'll want to mix that in completely. Do I add the spices? Do you want to think we should add the spices now or add it when we have the sugar already in it? It doesn't matter really, but I want it to be completely distributed. And sometimes when you don't have a ton of dry ingredients, the spices get better distributed when it's a little wetter. I think we should do the spices. And the reason is so that it gets well distributed before you add the other dry ingredients. Again, you want to make sure that it's completely distributed because you can get just big globs of butter and then it just tastes like butter.
Which, I mean, is not such bad.
All right, now we're going to add, tastes like spicy butter. Mm-hmm. Tastes like spicy butter, which is good, but if you want buttercream, you need the sugar. All right, so let's start with, I'm going to start with 1 cup. Well, I know I'm gonna at least need 1 cup. How's that? So we'll start with half a cup to mix it in. Okay, now it's going to get a little dry. So what we'll need is a tablespoon of milk to help keep it kind of fluid.
Do you want me to add it right now?
Yes, as I slowly mix this. Yep, it needs more sugar, but it also needs more milk. As you can see, it's getting very thick and kind of a little hard to spread, so. Okay, so let's see how this looks. Again, take it slow, otherwise you'll get poof. Yeah, this is pretty thick, but.
I think it's sweet enough.
It's sweet enough. You won't need any more sugar, but I bet you could do a ½ tablespoon of milk. Or just
fill it to the line, yeah.
Yeah. Or just under it. There you go. Good. Yeah, done. All right. Oh, that's good stuff. Now it's time to construct the cake. All right, so now we are going to construct the cake. But one of the things we need to do is the best to get your cake to not lean is you want Actually, bring that back.
Well, I was gonna
I know, I needed to set there though. Because what we're gonna do is we're gonna cut this thing and then we're gonna set it. So you want it to be kind of flat. So the best thing to do is kind of just take the top off your cake. And take a little bit off. That way it helps it kind of set flat. And then you use it as the base. I want to just add a little bit, and it's just, this kind of buttercream is just the gluing, right? It doesn't have to be perfect. You're just going to glue it a little bit. What do you think?
It looks awesome.
It looks okay. All right, so we decided, since the red was the smallest and it had a pretty nice cover, that we just wouldn't cut it. We would just set it on top. Well, it's a very cute rainbow cake. So now you just frost it. Hopefully I have enough buttercream. If I don't, it'll be okay. It's going to taste delicious if the buttercream and the cake is anything to go by. It should taste delicious.
And that is a pretty good.
That it leans a little bit, just a hair, but I mean it's not. Everything's more or less up there, but kind of leans this direction, I think.
A little bit.
A little bit, but not too bad. Now, it is a rainbow cake. Shouldn't we have rainbow sprinkles on it? I mean,
I can go get the sprinkles.
yeah. Do you want to throw it at the side?
Depends on how much cream it requires.
Yeah, I have kind of the same opinion. No, I think we're just going to leave it on the top because you're going to, when you cut through it, you're going to get all of those glorious colors. Awesome. This is cool. Okay, so now the secret to and that's how you make it look like it's never, ever made a mess. So there you go. After all this work, I don't really want to cut it. But we should cut it, don't you think? Here we go.
Oh. Ate up ahead.
Rainbow pride cake.
And they're
Gluten-free.
And they're all about even.
They are all about even. Well, the orange is a little small. Gluten-free rainbow pride cake. Happy Pride. So that's it for me. I hope you are having a great month. I hope you enjoyed this. Wow, that's a tasty cake. And anyway, gluten-free pride cake, rainbow. It is highly time intensive, but other than that, thanks for joining us. I hope you have a great month. Happy making, happy baking, happy eating, and happy reading.